Okay, one other question I was gonna ask Ed. A while back, I did a video with Corey about the Sony radio, but also Ed purchased a radio kind of at the same time that me and Corey did. And for the amount of miles that Ed has been putting this year, how many miles you think you have put? Because you went to Rushmore.
Yellowstone, whatnot. That was 4,170 miles round trip from door to door, 8 days. Went from basically Arlington, Tennessee, up to pretty much through the Ozarks of Missouri to Springfield, and up from.
So you think you almost 8,000 miles
this year? At least, yeah.
So he's pretty much had put almost 8,000 miles with the radio. The question is, what do you think so far about the Sony radio?
Absolutely, hands down, probably the best money spent. Especially over the Harley factory radio that was in it. The 18 doesn't have the was it GTS or something like that, infotainment,
Yeah, I think it was 19 when they came out with the new radio.
Right.
That has the Apple CarPlay.
With this, right now it still doesn't have wireless Apple CarPlay. You do have to have it hard plugged into, which that's why the little glove compartment door is open, because my phone won't fit with the door closed. But definitely going with Google Maps. At that point, it's very accurate. It's basically just like having your phone plugged up right there. I also have the Rockford Fosgate amplifier. I've got Rockford Fosgate front speakers, rear, and I was running with that with the regular Harley radio, and it was the only complaints at that particular point was the actual GPS. And so with this, there's nothing that I can complain about.
I know since I posted the video, I think it was back in February that I posted the video, there's been a lot of comments about people complaining, saying that the radio is not 100% waterproof, which is not waterproof. But you've been to a lot of rain.
There was one time we were in Yellowstone on that big long trip that was back in June, where we just were in a deluge, from pretty much just north of Old Faithful to Du Bois. And I do believe that with the actual windshield bag, I've got the vent closed, and I think with enough water coming in, it just had nowhere to go but drip onto the radio. And I was without a radio for maybe a couple hours, at that point. But we were riding really slow, basically freezing rain, as we were leaving Yellowstone to Du Bois. And I finally got the radio back, like I said, about maybe an hour or two, which of the 4 hours it took to go from Yellowstone to Du Bois. I mean, it was ridiculous. 35 mile the whole way. But that was the only time. So yeah, there's a kit. I have not personally looked into it, but Corey has. And from what he sees, it's nothing more than a little bit of sheet metal, real thin aluminum, that is bent, wrapped around it, and then you actually use tape to quote unquote make it 100% waterproof. And that'll be something that I'll probably look into, maybe if I have to make something myself, because we've got that technology where we work. But it's not been really hasn't been a problem. I mean, with that one issue, and then it came right back. But I also had other gremlins too, because like I said, it was a absolute torrential downpour that we were caught into, in Yellowstone.
I think at the end of the day, for $600, I mean, you can beat the price. $600. How much? That's kind of how much we paid for the radio, around $600 with the XM. That's kind of how I pay for it. And I think back in February when I checked, when I quoted to put the original Harley on it, Harley radio into my 2015, it was almost $2,000 between getting the harness adapter and the radio.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of crybabies and a lot of people complaining about the radio, but it's $600. If you don't like it, $600. You put back the original. But so far, it's still working.
And the thing is that thing's got a built-in 400-watt amp, you know, and everything. So I've got 4 speakers, and even if I didn't have the Rockford Fosgate, you know, I just left it in there because all of my plugs were, it was there. So literally with this radio being plug and play, you know, getting into the bike as far as the bat wing is concerned and getting to the actual radio, getting the old one out, putting it back in, really wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, you know, simple tools, a little bit of time, and you know, you're up and running. Corey actually has the Rockford Fosgate rear kit that he ended up hardwiring into the back of the radio. So you absolutely do not have to have the Rockford Fosgate amp, you know, at this point. And his sound system sounds just as good as mine. You know, like I said, it was one of those things, if hindsight was 2020, if I knew about the radio when I purchased the bike in February of 18, I more than likely, yes, I would have done the rear speakers, but I would have went with that radio. And that's the Sony AX7000.
7,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also, now I've looked into this, it's something called Car to Play, and it's something you can Google.
Like a Bluetooth?
It's a dongle, that you would be able to plug in to the USB port to on the back of that radio, and it would then be wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto to that radio. So, but I have contacted them, and none of the Sonys are on the website, but they've stated that they're going to be looking into it, and then they'll let me know. But that's been a few months now, so it's a slow boat. So from that point, so
yeah. I just wanted to give an update, especially coming from Ed. I know he had put a lot of miles and into the radio, and he has gone to a lot of rain and different type of weather with the radio. So I kind of wanted his feedback about what he thinks about the radio so far. You know, almost, you know, average 8,000 miles he has put, you know, and we're October already of this year. So just to give you an update for somebody that is been riding with the radio as far, you know, so at the end of the day, you recommend the radio, you know.
Absolutely.
So there you go. It's a little feedback for somebody that is using the radio and he's been taking it through a lot of different weather with the radio. So there you go.